Chapter 1, A Step Too Close. At the Paris Contemporary Art Fair, everything smelled of oil paint, champagne, and money. Soren Quinn didn't mean to step on Finn Stanton's foot. Finn, the eldest son of the Stanton Group, had the kind of face that made people forget to breathe. Soren's apology was flustered, but he caught Finn's glance, and something in him shifted. By the end of the day, what had started as an accident became a subtle capture. Soren knew, he wanted Finn. Chapter 2, Subtle Seductions. Finn was meticulous. Attentive. He could cook a perfect risotto, remember exactly how Soren liked his coffee, and somehow always knew when Soren was tired. But Finn was also the heir to one of Europe's largest conglomerates. Every gesture of intimacy was measured, every smile carefully placed. And when Soren hinted, sometimes awkwardly, that he wanted forever, Finn would only brush it off, saying softly, "You're hasty." Chapter 3, The First Dinner. Finn's penthouse kitchen smelled of garlic and fresh basil. Soren laughed as Finn stirred the sauce, the apron too big for his tall frame. "You could teach cooking classes," Soren teased. Finn didn't respond directly. He only said, "I cook because it matters. Because people I care about deserve care." Soren's heart tightened, but the unspoken barrier of Finn's heritage and responsibilities loomed between them. Chapter 4, Silent Confessions. On nights when the city lights glittered below, Soren would lay his head on Finn's shoulder. Finn never rejected him physically but never promised the future Soren craved. The tension was sweet, unbearable, and heartbreaking. Soren whispered once, "I want to grow old with you." Finn only held him tighter and murmured, "Some things can't be promised." Chapter 5, The Proposal That Wasn't. Finn's family insisted on an arranged engagement with another powerful family, something Soren had always suspected. Finn planned to use the engagement to escape family expectations, to finally be able to love Soren openly. But before he could act, news of the engagement reached Soren. He didn't hear it from Finn. He heard it from the press. Soren's heart shattered. That night, he drove too fast. Chapter 6, Crash and Separation. The world blurred. Metal twisted. Pain consumed him. Soren woke up weeks later in a hospital far from Paris. Finn came, but it wasn't the same. Soren needed time. Finn's family obligations pulled him back. And just like that, they were separated. Chapter 7, 3 years later. Soren returned to Paris, changed. Harder. Colder. He no longer yearned. Finn saw him across a crowded gallery opening, and something shifted in his chest. The man he had loved without reservation now avoided his gaze, polite but distant. Chapter 8, The Pursuit Begins. Finn didn't give up. Every week, he found subtle ways into Soren's life, shared work events, mutual friends, casual coffees. Soren resisted. He wouldn't be vulnerable again. Not after being blindsided. Chapter 9, Old Habits, Old Comforts. Finn still cooked for him. Still remembered how Soren liked his espresso. Soren hated that he still noticed. The tension between them became almost unbearable. Both craving, both resisting, both aware that 3 years had changed nothing about their feelings. Chapter 10, A Public Reveal. At a charity gala, Finn was forced to announce an official engagement, to Soren's shock and anger. But Soren discovered it was a strategic move. Finn needed family approval to maintain independence. The engagement was a decoy. A trap to escape the constraints of heritage. Chapter 11, The Confession. Soren confronted him privately. "Why didn't you tell me?" Finn's eyes softened. "I wanted to. I needed a way that wouldn't ruin us both." Soren realized, Finn had never stopped loving him. Chapter 12, A Risk Worth Taking. Finn offered Soren a choice, leave the past behind, start anew, and accept a life without secrecy. Soren hesitated. He remembered the pain, the car crash, the heartbreak. But the depth of Finn's devotion was undeniable. Chapter 13, Mutual Surrender. For the first time in years, Soren allowed himself to be held completely. They laughed. They cried. They kissed without the weight of expectation, without the shadows of family control. Their love was mutual, unshakable, and untainted. Chapter 14, The Twist of Trust. Soren found evidence that Finn had orchestrated the faux engagement to fool his family, without realizing Soren had suspected it all along. They laughed at the irony. They had both been protecting each other's hearts, in secret, for years. Chapter 15, Rebuilding. The Stantons accepted their relationship quietly. Soren no longer feared judgment, and Finn no longer had to hide. They traveled together, explored small cafes, and created a life that was entirely theirs. Chapter 16, The Test of Temptation. An ex-lover of Finn's attempted to interfere, claiming Finn owed her. Soren saw Finn's unwavering commitment. His heart still flinched, but he learned trust, true trust, was stronger than doubt. Chapter 17, The Marriage Proposal. The garden terrace was quiet, bathed in the warm glow of the late afternoon sun. Finn had asked Soren to meet him there, claiming he had something important to show. When Soren arrived, the air was heavy with the scent of jasmine and the soft murmur of city traffic far below. Finn stood at the edge of the terrace, hands tucked into his pockets, eyes fixed on the horizon. "Do you remember the first risotto I made for you?" Finn asked, a small, mischievous smile tugging at his lips. Soren chuckled, leaning against the stone railing. "How could I forget? You nearly set the kitchen on fire." "I've had time to practice," Finn said. His eyes softened, gravity settling in the corners of his gaze. "But I didn't come here to talk about cooking." Finn stepped closer. The warmth of his presence made Soren's chest tighten. "I've spent years waiting for the right moment. But I've realized something. There is no right moment." Soren's heart stuttered. "Finn." Finn reached into his pocket and produced a small, velvet box. He opened it, revealing a ring that caught the sunlight in a gentle flare. The simplicity of it, understated but exquisite, mirrored everything Soren had ever loved about him. "This time," Finn said, voice low and steady, "I promise nothing but this, I choose you. Always. No decoys, no pretenses, no expectations, just you and me. Will you marry me?" Soren's throat tightened, a lump forming as years of longing and heartbreak collided with hope and love. His mind flashed back to the first exhibition, the accidental step on Finn's foot, and the years of stolen glances and whispered promises. "Yes," Soren whispered, tears spilling over. "Yes, Finn. I will." Finn slipped the ring onto his finger, and Soren's hand followed instinctively, both of them laughing through tears. They held each other for a long moment, letting the world fade, letting the past dissolve. Chapter 18, He and He Alone. The wedding was small, an intimate gathering on a secluded terrace overlooking the city skyline. Friends who mattered attended, but there were no grand announcements, no socialite pomp. Soren wore a tailored suit that mirrored his quiet confidence, Finn in a classic black tuxedo that made his height and presence even more commanding. Yet, for all appearances, it was the subtle gestures. The way Finn brushed a stray strand of hair from Soren's forehead, the gentle squeeze of hands during the vows, that made everyone in the room realize this love was different. When the officiant asked, "Do you take each other to love, honor, and cherish?" Finn's gaze never left Soren's. "I do," they said in unison. Later, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting golden light across the terrace, Finn and Soren remained alone. "I never imagined we'd get here," Soren said softly, resting his head against Finn's shoulder. Finn pressed a kiss to his temple. "Neither did I. But we did. Together. No secrets, no pretenses, no one else. Just us." Soren smiled, a peaceful, satisfied smile he hadn't known he could feel. "He and he alone," he murmured, echoing the phrase Finn had whispered the first night they had cooked together. "Yes," Finn replied, tightening his hold. "Always." And under the twilight sky, two hearts that had survived distance, heartbreak, and the weight of expectations finally belonged entirely to each other, unbroken, untarnished, and completely pure. Epilogue, years later. 3 years after the wedding, Soren and Finn sat in their favorite cafe, sipping coffee on a quiet Sunday morning. They laughed about mistakes, reminisced about misadventures, and quietly planned the life they wanted, one entirely of their choosing. They were still deeply in love, still learning each other, still chasing little moments of joy in a world that had once tried to keep them apart. And when anyone asked about their story, they would smile and say simply,